get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. This week, Gibson bring back a guitar from the 80s, Ibanez bring back a guitar from the 80s, and a brand new budget guitar brand release models that wouldn't look out of place in the 80s. What in the big hair and spandex is going on? Also, last week's show was the most viewed episode we've ever had at over 70,000 views. Wow. So, share this with a friend. Let's keep it going. I'm enjoying those numbers and the fact that this show is reaching so many people and making them happy. Thank you. This week is sponsored by Pedaltrain. Woo-hoo! More about them in a little bit. If you're brand new to the show, that's probably really weird, but that's kind of how the show is. On the edge of too weird, I might say. Let's kick off this week's most exciting guitar gear releases with something ridiculous from Ibanez. You know when Gibson released a guitar that costs more than a year's worth of income for many people, we quite rightly have a little laugh at them and wonder what it's like to be one of those people where 50,000 notes for a guitar would not even dent one's bank account. It's got to the point where I'm actually surprised if a Gibson costs less than $5,000. More about that in a bit. A bit of foreshadowing there. But I am even more surprised this week to be telling you that taking a page out of Gibson's book is Ibanez. Up for pre-order and shipping in March 2025 are 14 limited edition Ibanez Gem 77 WFP. That's white floral pattern to you and me. And they come with a free book. Well, actually, they're only available through the publisher of the book. So technically, you're buying a book that comes with a free guitar. I don't know how it works. Now, I teased you about the price, that it might be quite Gibson. So here it is. 23,000 and a bit more. Now, before you spit out your coffee at the screen and shout obscenities at me whilst warming up your keyboard warrior fingers to type,
"No one is ever going to buy an Ibanez for that price,"
let me tell you this. There were only 15 made, and the first has gone to Steve Vai, and the 14 that are available on the website, I personally know someone who has bought one, and that person knows 4 others that have bought one. So that's 5 sold. Stick that up your gem and smoke it. I just thought of a great thumbnail. Ibanez are taking the pier. I might use that. I do agree that this is a ridiculous price for a guitar, and I'm not going to try and justify that by saying that I recently fell in love with Steve Vai and the gems are iconic, but I'll say the same thing as I do for those Gibsons. These aren't for us. These are for people who collect high-value guitars with the intention of selling them one day for even more money to other people that collect high-value guitars and have more money than they have. It's kind of like Fabergé eggs for people who used to have long hair, but now probably wear suits to work to hide their dodgy 80s tattoos. That's a terrible generalization. I'm sorry if you're one of those, but if you are hiding your tattoos with a suit on a daily basis and you don't earn Gem 77 WFP money, I'm with you. We all have a dream. Actually, though, if you are a banker who used to be in a band, here are the specs of the guitar. It's an alder body, 5-piece neck, rosewood board, tree of life inlay, vintage white floral pattern fabric finish, Damasio Evolution pickups, low pro edge tram, plus a custom matching Damasio clip lock strap. As for the book, it's called Wire and Wood, The Guitars of Steve Vai, which can also be purchased separately from about 300 notes. Wire and Wood documents over 100 of Steve Vai's most iconic guitars. There are over 1,000 full-color pages featuring detailed photography and personal insights from Steve on each guitar, including some rare prototypes and stolen guitars. I don't know why I smiled at that. That's not good news. Stolen guitars. So, if you call yourself an Ibanez fan, then this is the time to put your money where your mouth is. Enjoy your 23,000 note guitar carefully. Cory Wong has teamed up with affordable pedal makers Hotone Hotone, I knew I was going to fluff that, to bring us the Wong Press, a 4-in-1 rocker pedal with volume, expression, wah, and a combination of volume and wah. One of the big selling points of the Wong Press is not only that it has multiple functionality, but that it also has a small, teensy-tiny footprint. Well, relatively small for all the stuff it can do. Still pedal-sized. There is a dual-color LED to show you which mode you're in, and a soft-pressed button at the front to engage the pedal with your toesies. You might be familiar with the Hotone Soul Press 2, the pedal that inspired the Wong Press, and on the surface they do seem to be the same pedal, but the difference is that all the parameters of the Wong Press were chosen and defined by Cory, so that's why it's a signature. It's tweaked to his liking, and that may explain the price. The Wong Press will set you back around 195 notes, whereas the original Soul Press 2 is almost half that. As this is also an expression pedal, you can use it to control your Hotone Ampero or any effects pedal and multi-effects that accepts expression pedals. So it might be worth it just to have the extra space on your board. And certainly don't need a wah and a volume. Did the colours just change it? Did something change? That just really freaked me out. Oh God, I'm recording this, but I don't think the lights flickered. Now, wah doesn't seem as popular as it used to be. However, I've never had a pedal board without a wah pedal, and it is one of my favorite go-to effects because I can hide, some boring pentatonics behind. And I love the idea of combining effects in one pedal, so this is supposed to be an opportunity to use this as, an expression pedal as well. I would really need to try both the Soul Press 2 and... It did change color! It's my voice! Has that been happening the whole time? I'm leaving it. Whoa! Like and subscribe! Anyway, I would need to have the Cory Wong Wong Press and the Soul Press 2 side by side to, check them out and see if they actually are any different and see if it's worth the extra cash. I will probably be doing that at Guitar Summit in a few weeks' time, so if I do it, then I will make a video. I can tell you, however, that I prefer the look of the Wong Press because it looks more expensive and looks more deluxe. But I can't express how much that bothers me that I think it matters. And it's now time to talk about this week's sponsor, Pedaltrain. Pedaltrain. You might not realize it, but the quality of the soft case that your pedal board goes in is almost as important as the pedal board itself. Sure, these aren't the cheapest on the market, and there are other pedal boards you can get for half the price that do the same job. But for how long? So if you want your pedal board to be transported safely, make sure that it's a Pedaltrain. Check them out at the link below. Welcome back. If you're enjoying this weekly show, then there could be others that would enjoy it too, but they're missing out because they simply don't know that this show exists. Imagine how good you would feel if you shared this video with friends on social media or in person and they all loved it. Imagine how popular you'd be. So, please feel free to share this show with your friends. You deserve that happiness. Thank you! It seems like I was talking about Gibson just a moment ago and kind of taking them as a joke, but here they are releasing a brand new old model that apparently lots of people have been asking for. The 2024 Gibson Victory line is a surprisingly quirky Superstrat, and quirky is not a word that I would usually associate with Gibson, and neither is Superstrat, come to think of it. The Victory first came out in the 80s and it kind of flopped and was brushed to one side rather quietly. But Gibson have brought it back and changed the headstock to be more Explorer than Firebird, which I think is a mistake. I think the original headstock is in line with that quirkiness, and the Explorer hockey stick one is a little bit of a cop-out. They almost did it and I went, nah, it's too much. Go for it. If you're going to do it, do it. Anyway, there are currently several different specs available. They all have a mahogany body with a 25.5-inch Fender scale, slim taper mahogany neck with compound radius ebony fingerboard, 24 frets and acrylic dot inlays. They all have the same in terms of electrics and hardware. The pickups are Gibson 80s Tribute pickups, whatever they are, with coil split and inner and outer coil selection switching. Here is where they differ. There's the entry-level model in satin finish. This is gold, green, and walnut, and this will set you back just under 2,000 notes. The middle ground belongs to the model that adds a AA figured maple top in translucent ebony burst, which is in the 2,400 notes range. And just above that in price, for about 50 to 100 bucks more, you get the AA figured maple top in either wine red burst, smokehouse burst, or, wait for it, iguana burst, which is the best finish available, no question. It's the only finish that matches this quirky, someone just tried to melt a PRS Veiler into the shape of a Jackson design. Honestly, I thought the guitars were pretty pedestrian until I saw that iguana burst. Now that is a guitar, and I think it... No, I can't, but I would. I feel that I might be alone on that one, on the iguana burst. I think there might be less of those. I think they might be more rare in the future, and I think it's more unique. What do you think? Leave a comment, please. I do think that they're too expensive, and I do hope an Epiphone version comes along at some point, but if you're absolutely certain that you must pick one right now, then there are links in the video description and the first comment with accurate pricing in your region. You're welcome. Back in 2017, this channel was just kind of taking off, and Mooer and Devin Townsend released one of the most interesting pedals that was around at the time. And it seems almost naive to talk about it in such grand terms, but the original Ocean Machine was the first pedal that truly gave me gas, because up until then I'd never heard of a pedal that enabled you to create soundscapes with delay and reverb and play over them. And as a musician spending most of my time alone in my basement back then, this really appealed to me. Well, 7 years later, and I'm still alone in my basement, but Mooer and Devin Townsend have released the Ocean Machine 2. Similar to the original Ocean Machine, the number 2 has 2 independent delay modules, each having 9 different types of delay of up to 2 seconds. There's also a high-fidelity reverb module with 9 different reverb types plus a shimmer effect, and each delay and reverb can also be frozen to create a static ambient drone. And Mooer assure us that the new DSP upgrades make these drones and sounds even more impressive. You can also switch around the order of effects inside the pedal, which is super cool. The fully stereo Ocean Machine 2 also has 120 seconds, that's 2 minutes to you and me, of loop storage, and an LCD screen with 12 knobs, 3 foot switches, 24 configurable preset slots, and MIDI. Mooer seem to have really worked hard on the connectivity, as you can not only connect an external expression pedal, such as the WONGPRESS, there's also a wireless connection available for the option Mooer F4 foot switch, which obviously opens up more buttons. 4 of them, in fact. So the Ocean Machine 2 is more powerful and more flexible than the original, but most interestingly, it's also the most affordable, with prices around 250 notes. And I don't see anybody else putting out such a powerful ambient machine for much cheaper. And I'm dying to get my hands on one. Andy's Pick of the Week! Yes, my pick of the week. Let me ask you, have you heard of Spira Guitars? No, of course you haven't. Well, probably not, because they're brand new. However, as a viewer of this channel, you probably have heard of Jet Guitars, as I've made many videos of their usually excellent and often more vintage-inspired budget guitars. Well, Spira Guitars is the sister brand of Jet Guitars. Are they the more expensive, boutique, hand-built, on-the-moon brand that's going to cost you an arm and a leg? No. These are also a bunch of guitars aimed at modern metalheads, but with a budget. These guitars are born to be chug machines for people that don't want to spend that much money, and I think it's a great idea. To quote Spira, their guitars are all about high performance and sleek modern aesthetics while offering unprecedented value. Sounds good to me. I took a look at the new website, and yes, I can say that the prices are pretty phenomenal, and some of the guitars really do stand out. If you look closer, you might notice that every guitar is based around the same formula. All the guitars are fixed bridge, they all have locking tuners, and all feature the same pickups. These are Spira's own custom-made pickups called the Villain Humbuckers. They are 12K output ceramic magnetic humbuckers, and as far as I know, they've been tweaked to chug pretty well. There are two series available, the 400 and the 450. The 400 series has a roasted poplar body, a roasted maple neck, and an ebony tech fretboard, whereas the 450 series also has a roasted poplar body, but with a flame maple top, plus a roasted maple neck and a roasted maple fretboard. And I asked Spira Guitars if that was flame maple top or maple top with a flame veneer, and they told me that it's a real thick flame maple top. So I look forward to checking that out, because I don't believe it, to be honest. I hope it is. I believe them, but I can't believe it, if that makes sense. There are T-style shapes, there are S-style shapes, and there are LP shapes. And there are 6 and 7 string models available, and I'll jumble that together around the same sort of formula. The first model that jumped out of me was this S400 MGR, which is one of the 6-string satin finishes in dark green, which I'm going to say is olive army green or olive drab, which I love. And it costs €329. This 7-string 450 series also floats my goat, and for €409, it is pretty exciting. And oddly, very oddly, the Spira S450 TPP with the trans purple finish initially made me feel a little bit sick in my mouth. But then the more that I looked at it, the less sick I felt. And then suddenly I was overwhelmed by the urge to play it. And now I love it. And that's a very strange feeling indeed. And this one costs €375. I think Spira Guitars are going to make a lot of people very happy. And in my opinion, they should come in the box in either drop D or maybe even drop C, just to, not spend the time doing it when you take it straight out of the box. But I'm fairly sure it's going to come in standard tuning. And as for the comparison with Jet guitars, it makes sense now that Jet guitars are going to stay more sort of vintage 60s, 50s inspired, and then the Spira Guitars are going to take over the modern metal scene. These are not officially launching for another 2 weeks, when I'll actually be playing them at Guitar Summit in Mannheim. So if you're in Germany around that time, come along to the show and say hi and tell me your pick of the week, and yeah, we'll hug it out. So expect a video on these very, very soon with what I predict will be a very big smile on my face. Thank you to the wonderful people that support this show on Patreon. Their names, I've done it again! Their names are up on screen now! Oh, hello everybody. I read Harry Potter to my kids sometimes, or often, and I can never get Professor McGonagall's voice right until I say names! And then it's far too strong. Anyway, hi. These people support the show right here on YouTube. Hello to you as well, and thank you all so much. If you want to support the show, then probably the best thing you can do right now is share the video in places where you share videos. But if you want to go the extra mile, then support the show even more and help out me and Victor the editor. Hi, Victor.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Then click the join button right here on YouTube, or visit my Patreon link, which is also down where the rest of the links are. And here's a special thanks to those people that go the extra mile, the top tier members. Alinta Boston, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Buzzle, Dirk, Doug Paget, Hugh G. Rection, Johnny McBadminton, Michael Michaelet Luna, Pop's Place. This prank is officially sponsored by Jason Welch, Andrew Morgan, Dustin Bonney, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamber, PQ Dets, Robin Kelly, Sarang Narayan, Southern Panda 33. Oh, I'm going to have to stop doing that, I think. We'll go back to the gym. Thank you, top tier members. You got me there. Remember, you don't need to buy any of this gear to sound good, but who am I to decide that for you? Go on, you only live once. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Oh, my chest hurts.